Okay, picture this. You're just standing in the middle of a busy city square. It's a totally normal day, or at least it starts out that way. We're about to look at the invisible forces that can turn a bunch of strangers into a single, sometimes terrifying entity, and how, right in the middle of all that chaos, heroes can be born. All right, let's get into it.
And this is it. You know the scene. Life is just happening. Shops are open, traffic's a total mess, horns are blaring, people are just rushing past each other. It's that familiar, chaotic rhythm you get in any big city. Everything is exactly as it should be. And then a switch flips. Just like that. A single incident. One girl gets harassed. Maybe a word is said. A hand reaches out. She tries to get away, but it's like the crowd pulls her in, swallows her whole. And in an instant, that river of normal everyday life, it's become a tidal wave of panic and aggression. Now, here's the really weird part. There's no plan. No one's in charge. There's no leader shouting orders. And yet, somehow, everyone is moving as one, like they're all being driven by some unseen single mind. So, what on earth is this invisible force that can just hijack an entire crowd?
So let's really break down the event itself. I mean, how does one single moment of aggression spiral so completely out of control?
Well, it starts small. One person becomes a target. But the momentum, it builds with terrifying speed. That one target becomes two, and then, all of a sudden, every girl nearby is a potential target. The crowd doesn't just surround them, it feels like it's consuming them. You know, when you see something like this, it feels almost supernatural. Your mind just scrambles for an explanation. Is this some kind of negative energy, a demonic influence, or, I don't know, a secret organization pulling all the strings? The truth is actually a lot simpler, and honestly, way more unsettling. The answer isn't supernatural at all. It's psychological. It's a phenomenon that some call the collective mind network. Think of it like this. Imagine that in any crowd, there's an invisible Wi-Fi network broadcasting a signal. It could be a signal of aggression or panic or something else. And people, without even realizing it, just connect. The moment they're connected, their own individual sense of right and wrong starts to fade away.
And this is the crucial part. It's all about the numbers. The more people who join this negative network, the stronger its signal gets. And the stronger that signal is, the more it just completely overrides personal morality. Your individual responsibility, it just dissolves into the noise of the crowd.
But wait, that's not the whole story. Because even as one network is growing, another one can be born right alongside it, the resistance network. Right there in the middle of all that chaos, some people make a totally different choice. They actively refuse to connect to that signal of aggression. Instead, they start broadcasting a different signal entirely, one of defiance and one of protection.
And this resistance, it's built on these small individual actions. One person sees what's happening and just pulls a girl to safety inside a shop. Someone else immediately locks the door right behind them. Another person simply finds their voice and screams, "Enough." These aren't huge, grand gestures. They're firewalls. Each little action creates a barrier against that tidal wave. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. It shows the two paths. On one side, you've got the act of connecting, that hand reaching out to join the aggression, helping the crowd swallow a person. And on the other, you've got the act of building a firewall, pulling someone to safety, shutting a door, standing up against the crowd. It's a conscious choice. Now, it's so important to understand that this phenomenon isn't limited to one place or one kind of event. The network is always there. It just takes on different forms. The stuff we just described could happen anywhere. This isn't a story about one specific city or one culture. This is a story about us, about human psychology. The collective mind can show up anywhere people gather, from New York to Seoul to Rwanda. Let's look at how this plays out. First, Rwanda, 1994. The network there became murderous. Neighbors, who'd lived peacefully side by side for years, turned on each other. Why? Because the collective signal sanctioned it. Or think about New York. A young woman was murdered while dozens of people watched and did nothing. The network there? It was the bystander network. The signal was, don't get involved. And then in South Korea 2014, the network was fatally obedient. Students on a sinking ferry were told to wait in their cabins. And they did, because the collective signal was to follow authority, even as the water was rising around them. So you see, the really crucial takeaway is that the underlying force is the same. It doesn't matter if someone becomes an aggressor, a passive bystander, or fatally obedient. In every case, they've connected to a collective mind. The signal might be different, but the network is exactly the same.
And all of this brings us to the most important question of all. It's not just about understanding this phenomenon. It's about understanding our own role in it. We so often focus on the question, why did those people do that horrible thing? But maybe, just maybe, the more important question is, why didn't everyone else join the resistance network? Why didn't more people choose to build that firewall? And the answer to which network you connect to in a crisis? Well, it isn't decided in that moment. It's actually determined long before that, by the values, the principles, and the beliefs that have been built into you your entire life. So in the end, it really boils down to a series of fundamental choices. When the time comes, which signal are you going to tune into? The one of aggression or the one of defense? Will you stand with the person causing the harm or the person being harmed? Do you tell yourself, hey, this is none of my business, or are you the one who finds the courage to shout, enough? The thing is, your choices are already a reflection of who you are. It's a mirror of your core principles. It's not really about suddenly becoming a hero in a crisis. It's about simply acting like the person your values have already prepared you to be. And that's the thought I really want to leave you with. We all hope we never end up in a situation like this, but one day you might just find yourself right in the middle of one. And in that moment, when the pressure's on and that collective mind is calling out, everything about who you really are is going to be revealed.